Hello. Today we're going to be talking about how to play Hitscans in Marvel Rivals. Now, I'm leaving a list of things, just like I did before, for my how to aim video. But we're just going to be doing a little bit of breaking down exactly how you should be playing Hitscans, some tips and tricks, and yeah, we'll get into it. Alright, first of all, point number one. This is mostly for like DPS I'm referring to. It applies to tank and support as well. But no, the specific tips in terms of like positioning and stuff, they're gonna be not scan tip. So don't panic if I'm saying something and you're like, that's not 100% true. It's for I'm talking about characters like Hela, Phoenix, Punisher. Okay, but it does apply to Luna, uh, Deadpool, DPS, Tank Deadpool, DPS Deadpool, Luna. That's all of them. Okay, so official point number one: how to play hit scans. What is a hit scan? Alright, we should obviously go over this first. Most range characters in this game are hit scans. What a hit scan is it is a client-sided point-and-click character. Where if you point, the gun is going to shoot. Okay, so there's no distance, there's no travel over time. A lot of characters are hit scan in this game. Okay, I have a list of every character that's hit scan and projectile and melee, so go find that. But a hit scan is someone who excels at damaging over distance, okay? Because most hit scans are distance-based, are distance characters. They poke. They fall into the poke category. The whole identity is that they deal consistent damage over distance before the enemy can close the gap. So most hit scans will fall under the poke category. Learn what poke ball damage is because it's really important. Tip number two. Most hit scans are positioning defined, not movement defined, okay? Hit scans are typically slow characters who are defined by their positioning. They lack movement tools and close range survivability, and that's the trade-off. You get damage over distance, but you gotta give up your mobility, your close range survivability, etc. So a lot of characters, alright, let's use Hela as an example, okay? She has one movement ability and one stun, and the rest is damage. She's got a main damage, left click, and then her right click is explosive. Okay. She's only got one movement ability and one stun, so if you bait them out, she's not left with a lot of options to deal with in close range. So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the difference between characters. Alright. Aim fundamentals carry over. And this is an execution layer. Everything from the aim video applies directly here. Crosshair placement, loading animations to track, hardware aim mechanics, these are all really important things when learning to aim. So go and watch that video, okay? Because I detail exactly how to practice your aim, alright? How to keep good aim, because obviously hitscans are aim-based characters. But if you're not struggling with the aim and you're just here to learn other things, well, I can help you with that. But it is important for people who are learning hitscans. If you don't have insane aim, go practice it. Go watch the video I had about aiming, because there will be a lot of tips and tricks in there that you definitely want to be using. Hitscan is where aim fundamentals matter most, okay? There's no travel time behind. There's fucking... It is all raw dog aim, okay? So go learn how to aim. Alright, bouncing off of point number two, point number four. The biggest hitscan specific mistake is positioning, not aim. I see a lot of hitscan players, they can aim, they can hit really detrimental shots, right? But they're standing in bad positions and they're not using positioning correctly. They're overextending, they're playing unsupported angles, and they're getting picked off. So I want you... Alright, so number one, don't use your movement abilities when engaging fights. This is a big one for every character. It's really important for hit scans, especially ones that have low movement. Because if you're burning your movement ability, engaging a fight, or playing a risky angle, you have no leave tool. Right? That's a pretty obvious one. Right? But just don't engage silly angles. Play. I would recommend, if you don't know what a supported angle is, recommend playing a minimum 90 degrees behind your tank. Okay? That is like a horizontal 90 degrees. Like, don't walk horizontally past your tank or past their spaceline. Okay? If they're standing behind you, you're probably overextending and they're probably playing a risky angle. Right? When you're on your neutrals, set up for good positioning. Don't overextend walking up to where the enemy's going to come from. Right? You're playing poke, you're playing distance. You want them to come to you. You want them to play your sidelines. So don't drop angles, playing silly angles, looking to overextend and looking for wide peaks. Play to your position, to your power position. If you don't understand where to stand, alright, well then there's a couple of things we need to work on. You want to be standing at least with your supports, okay? You're going to be standing over long sight-lined angles, right? Where you've got a lot of ability to shoot freely and they don't have to walk to you. You want to be playing minimum 2 seconds from cover at all times. You always want to be playing 2 seconds from cover. Right, that is a rule. If you are 2 seconds away from cover, if you are not 2 seconds away from cover, or you're not thinking about it constantly, then you're overextending the entire game. And that is a big issue that will be fed upon because you don't understand the mistake you're making. Hitscan needs to play off the space your team is making. Not find your own. You want to be playing in towards your backline protecting. Alright. That is where most of your sightlines can be, and most of the points on this map create long sightlines. So if you're playing down main, you're probably going to have the best angles. You can transfer to off angles, right? But they need to be supported angles. What a supported angle is that you're either able to be helped from your team, alright? You're in a positional safe space, so like your team, the enemy can't shoot you freely or walk around you, or your team has momentum. So say it's like a 6v6, right? You guys have just gotten 2 picks. You want to transfer for an off angle? You can do that because your team has momentum, your team is walking, okay? But as long as it's a supported angle. Now, my next point, I kind of already mentioned a little bit, but it's the 2-second peak rule, okay? Don't, when you're peaking, right? Don't, one, repeat the same angle multiple times if you've been engaged, right? If you've been engaged, don't peak the same angle twice. Second of all, don't be standing more than 2 seconds out from cover at all times. You have to be within cover. You have to be able, if I go red light, green light, you need to be able to jump behind cover at all times. You need to know what your cover is. His skin has no ability to bail you out, but to bail you out. So if you're exposing yourself and you're playing way too extended and in the open, you're going to get fed upon. Right? Peak to get value, get back to cover. Don't give them the open, even if it's an angle that feels safe. Uh, Point number 6. Use third-person mode to scout. I mean, this might sound a little bit silly, but a lot of people don't do it. Most competitive games are first-person. So no one even thinks to use third-person. When you're peeking corners, stand behind it and position your camera so that you can see around the corner. It's really important because you can see exactly where they are. You prepare your swing without even having to expose yourself. Learn how to use third person to your advantage because it's really important. It lets you gather info without exposing the actual hitbox, and part of positioning a reaction, know before you peek. Don't peek and then make your reaction. Alright? You position correctly and then you peek when you know where they are. Right? You don't just immediately peek and then swing and then guess everything. Alright. Number 7, this is a bit of a silly one, but just don't panic in 1v1s. Right? I put this tip in specifically because it's something that I do, and I just want you to trust in your skills and trust in the advice I'm giving you. Right? Don't panic in 1v1s. Just stay calm. Trust the tips. Trust your own aim. Trust your skill. Trust it, that you know what you're doing enough more than they do. Okay? You are the dominant player. And a big part of being a DPS player is having a massive fucking ego. So be confident in your 1v1s and you will win. Okay. I think that's gonna be it. We're just gonna hit a little recap here. Alright. Um Learn the powers of Hitscan. Learn that they're best over range and that they are a damage over range character, mostly fall in the poke category. Okay. Remember your positioning. Remember that it's really important. Okay. Remember the aim fundamentals that I taught you in my other video. Remember um remember not to play silly angles and to play safe. Remember the 2-second peak rule. Okay. Remember to use third person to scale your angles before committing. Remember the 90 degree rule and my rules about momentum and taking supported angles. Okay. One more thing, actually, a lot of poke, uh, a lot of poke in this game have charge up ults or ults that are used in specific situations. So learn exactly what your ult is good for, um, and learn the situations for it, and learn, let's say, like, for example, Punisher, right? When you're popping Punisher ult, there's like 2 seconds when you first start up the animation, right? Learn that when I'm using Punisher, right, I'm going to be hiding behind a wall. Okay, waiting for my animation to start, and then I'm going to peek. Okay, say we're playing Hela. Hela's ult makes you a giant goddess in the sky that shoots down the explosive balls. Okay, Hela's ult is really good because it makes the enemy choose whether they're going to shoot your ult and break it, or if they're going to take the damage from it and continue their fight. Okay, so Hela is like a chooser. It's crowd control. You know, it makes them decide if they're going to die to the Hela ult or if they're going to break it. So just learn how your ults work. That'll be a really big part of your kit. But that's not poke or any advice. That's just my general game tip. Okay. Well, learn what I'm telling you. Don't just watch it. Stay stay good out there. Be kind to yourself. Alright. That's the end of my video. Love you and ladies. Bye.